The entire talk is something very light because I know that you don't want anything that heavy, but at the same time you would also like to take away something which is significant. So it's more of my own personal journeys as a reader. I'm a voracious reader, so and hopefully I could also share a bit of what I know about picture books because my passion is in children's literature. So I'm a lecturer at the National Institute of Education in Singapore, and Serene is one of my students in one of her master's courses. So that's how we met, and later on I will be sharing with you a bit more about our collaboration, especially with my website on children's literature. Okay. Share with you one of my favorite quotations from a recent young adult literature book that I read, Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. He said that Bea says, one of the characters in this book, that the art of reading is slowly dying, that it's an intimate ritual, that a book is a mirror that offers us only what we already carry inside us, that when we read, we do it with all our heart and mind, and great readers are becoming more scarce by the day. I find this particular quote very moving because I do believe that books come to you for a reason and at very special moments in your lives. So I suppose my passion for reading goes beyond just the literacy aspect, but really the love for reading for its own sake. So what kind of books did I read when I was a child? So I started to thought back, and of course the classic. I may not be within the same generation as most of you are, but I'm pretty sure that we all know Dr. Seuss and the Cat in the Hat. I'm very familiar with Green Eggs and Ham, so those are the books that I've read when I was a child. What are some of the books that I read as a toddler? So I like the I Can Read It series. I found this Are You My Mother book very moving. Put Me into Sue, and of course The Best Nest. So you can see that there is sort of alliteration in the way that you read the pages of the book. The pictures are very nice. So those are some of the books I read as a toddler. So, okay, now what else did I read? Of course, we have the Berenstain Bears. I like their camping series the most. And of course, I was very familiar with the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales, the classics. One of the Filipino versions of Andersen fairy tales would be Kwento ni Lola Basang. So it's like the stories of grandmother. So then, of course, the early teenage years. Please do not think less of me if you see some of the books that I will be sharing with you here. Of course, I was addicted to Sweet Valley High. I have to admit, I had the entire series in my bookshelves. And Sweet Dreams, of course, P.S. I Love You, Love Match, but didn't have High School Musical or Glee at the time that I was growing up. So I guess we had this as an alternative or as a substitute. I said, the challenge of choosing picture books began once you become a mother, right? So that's when my daughter was here with us, was born. So now my tastes in books would be quite different and would be varied as a function of motherhood. Now, the first question that I asked my mind was, how do I choose picture books that would particularly challenge the mind of my daughter? I think this one is particularly catchy. First of all, a good picture book must ring with emotional content so that children care about what's going on. As a writer, you have little time and few pages to achieve this. The characters in a children's book must reach into the heart of the reader on page 1. So that's by Rosemary Wells. It's also a very famous children's book, right? Now that's where the challenge begins. So what do we look for in a picture book? Now, even picture books, this is the basic thing that perhaps you need to take away at the very end of the session, is that it can be intellectually challenging, demanding that readers use higher level thinking skills. So we can't just dismiss children's lit as for babies. If you really choose wisely, you can really give your children such treasure even when they're very young.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to give Dr. Mar a little token of appreciation. Thank you so much.